This is Sichi, a high school student who's constantly bullied by everyone around. But suddenly, his life is turned upside down after he is transported to another world. In the summary of the first season, we witnessed his adventures and how he managed to become stronger than the strongest wizard in that world. And this is the summary of the second season of Sichi's tale. So if you haven't seen the summary of the first season, go watch it to understand the rest of the events. We continue with Sichi as he heads to Barbador Academy with his crew. Upon arrival, the wizard Barna takes them on a tour of the academy. After the tour, Barna tells Sichi that after the arrival of students from another world, the other students felt annoyed by this and started bothering them. So, I brought you here, Sichi, to save the academy from what it's facing. Sichi is appointed as a teacher with Oliga as his assistant. Sarya and Luloni will be students, and Toria will be a teacher like Sichi. Barna tells him that he will be in charge of Class F, a group known for causing trouble. Suddenly, this girl opens the door abruptly and we learn that her name is Beatrice. It seems she has the whole academy under her thumb like a spider in its web. She takes Sichi to where Class F is located. We learn that she was the previous person in charge of Class F but left because she couldn't develop their talents. They are not troublemakers, on the contrary, they're really nice and she believes Sichi can develop their talents. Upon reaching the class, Sichi is greeted in a peculiar way with a basin falling on him. Don't ask me how. But Sichi calms himself down, remembering Beatrice's words that they are nice. When he looks at them, he finds that the entire class consists of only 4 people. Yes, that's right, just 4, and they're not alike at all. One is a bully named Agnos, another is introverted wearing a bear's head called Bird, who doesn't speak but writes on paper. There's a geek named Prod, I don't know what he's doing with them, and a narcissistic girl who's full of herself named Helen. It's quite the class, one that you wouldn't wish on anyone. Meanwhile, in another place, demons are plotting to attack the academy. Suddenly, 2 named Demorus and Agniera appear, heralds of the Demon King. They declare that they will be the ones to assault the academy because they can't leave such a task to a pig with a belly like that. At that time, Sichi was struggling with the students in Class F, but the leader Beatrice steps in and resolves the issue, making it known to them that Sichi is their new teacher, taking her place, and then Saria joins as a student in their class. Afterward, teacher Beatrice distributes the grades of their last exam, and the whole class has failed, except for Agnes who, without bragging, got a 0. We are different from the others. Even the loner, the bear idea, failed. What's your excuse now, Agnes? Beatrice suggests. How about you test their combat strength in a special lesson? The students are excited about the idea, because they still think Sichi is weak. While the students head to the battleground, Sichi is with Principal Barna, telling him that Class F is different from the other classes. Have you not asked yourself why Class F only has 4 students? Beatrice explains that they can't use magic, which is why the other students ostracized and bullied them. This scene is from her talk in episode 3. That's why we put them in one class, to keep them as far away as possible from the other students. While the students of Class F are preparing for the test, someone from Class S, the highest class in the academy, comes and starts to hassle them. This person is Brod's brother, Theobald, and he was about to challenge them to a fight. But when he notices Saria, he says, "What's a beautiful girl like you doing in Class F?" And he tells her, "How about you become my wife?" She tells him, "Sorry, I'm married to Sichi." Boom, 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 a face was slammed. Indeed, his face was blown away. He says, "Surely I must have heard wrong. I'll give you another chance." But she tells him, "Go away, you with your triangle-shaped head." Boom, boom, the face was slammed for the second time. I think it's enough to end the video right there. Anyway, he tries to save what's left of his dignity and leaves. At that moment, Sichi arrives at the battleground and the combat strength test begins. Sichi tells them that he won't use magic, which angers Helen because she perceives it as an insult to them. She draws her knives and attacks him with a flurry of strikes. And he was in such a critical situation that he was about to use magic, but something strange like interference stops him. He is very surprised by what happened, and when it attacks him again, he uses magic and ends the matter in his usual gentle way, as is Sichi's style. Then it's Agnos's turn to face Sichi, but Barud tells him, "What do you think if we 3 face him together?" And they attack Sichi with a triple assault. But Sichi shines as usual and he uses a spell that shakes the entire academy. However, they are not satisfied with what happened because they are unable to use magic, which makes them vulnerable to bullying and beating. That's why the rest of the chapters call them the class of failures. Here, Sichi is not content with this situation. He uses the skill of clairvoyance and discovers that there are chains on them preventing them from using magic. Sichi remembers when he was bullied and had no friends to turn to, and how, after moving to this world, he met many people who helped him on his way, and he is not willing to see them suffer as he did. So he decides that he will save them. He creates a new skill from scratch to free them from the chains, and it actually works. The chains break, and when they try to use magic, they indeed can use their magic for the first time. They are overjoyed, and teacher Beatrice cries with happiness that they are finally able to use magic. After that, they go to the academy's cafeteria to celebrate what happened. At that moment, a girl appears and calls Sichi. It turns out she was looking for him with her nose, which can locate where you are from a kilometer away because she sensed his scent as soon as he arrived at the academy. Nose like that or pipes? Her name is Kanazuki, and she was one of the students from his class who transferred with him. She is very happy that she found him, and lo and behold, a storm of hugs swept through the place. At the same time, Demuros and Agniera arrive at the academy. They notice a magical barrier over it, but with her skills, Agniera controls the gate guards and makes them open the gate for her. After that, Sichi and the gang went to have a nice sit down, and they chatted for a bit. We learn from Kanazuki that she respects Sichi because he saved her from some bullies when she was little, even though he couldn't really do anything to them because of his belly, of course, but he was trying to help her, and that's what made her respect him. And when she asked him why he saved her, he replied to her, saying that his father and mother taught him to help anyone in need. Later, she found out that Sichi was an orphan, yet he was always smiling. Here, Sichi stands up and confesses the truth to everyone, and he tells them the story from beginning to end. But they tell him that they will continue to love him no matter what he looks like. However, suddenly, Kanazuki breaks the romantic mood that was set, and she tells Sichi that they can't see each other again. And when he asks her why, she tells him it's because of the other students ostracizing them, and she doesn't want to cause him problems and such, and that she's happy that she saw him. While she was leaving, she notices Olga wearing a bracelet similar to the one that was around her neck when she was a slave. She gets scared and tells Sichi. Sichi quickly asks her about it, and she tells him that the Tsar's empire gave it to them when they came to this world. Sichi gets angry because he knows that this bracelet is a bracelet of slavery, and the same interference happens again. The power of the fruit of evolution is activated, and Sichi's eyes turn into demonic eyes, and Sichi screams with a rage that shakes the whole world, and all the bracelets in the academy break. And there's a strange body inside Sichi's mind, but just as Sichi's body was about to collapse, Saria saves and awakens him. Kanazuki is found fallen on the ground. So Sichi rushes to her, and he explains the situation to her, that the bracelet is a bracelet of slavery, and that the Tsar's empire is manipulating them. And here, the wizard Barna appears, and he says that they probably wanted to use you as pawns to control the world, and fortunately, the bracelets were broken. And in the class, Seichi has just finished the lesson, and there's the inter-class competition next week, and they're all excited because finally, they'll be able to use magic and show their true abilities. Sichi puts them through very tough training so they will be ready for the competition. And then the day of the competition comes, and the wizard Barna announces the start of the competition. At that time, Sichi, may his life be long, is in the bathroom. And all I can say is, God be with you, my son. The first match is between Broad and Theobald, but suddenly, a magical circle appears in the sky, and from it descend messengers of the Demon King, Demuros and Agniera. Demuros uses light magic to absorb the power of everyone in the place to revive the Demon King, and Sichi's class cooperates with Theobald to protect the academy. They manage to break Agniera's mask, and her facial tattoo is revealed. She becomes fiercely angry and uses her full power and defeats them all, but then Beatrice appears and intervenes. Agniera attacked her, but Beatrice withstood her attack, and she struck her with a book blow to the head that finished her off. They rejoiced in their defeat of Agniera, but in their joy, they forgot about Demuros, who appeared and said, "Don't you feel like you've forgotten someone?" He sat down to torture the sorcerer Barna, not knowing why. Poor sorcerer Barna. Then Agniera woke up and asked Demuros for some power, but he laughed and told her, "You're finished, and you're not even one of the messengers. The real messengers are the ones with this emblem on their bodies. Your only value was in your mind and power, but you've lost them." And she was absorbed by the king of demons. Then the confrontation between Beatrice and Demuros began. The difference in power was evident. He attacked her with consecutive strikes, months, the sect tried to help her but were defeated. She stood in front of them to protect them. Deimos readied his final attack, but then Uncle Sichi appeared and said, "What's happening here in my absence? Did you do all this?" Setesh became angry, and his demonic power showed. Deimos used all his power against him, but with one strike, Sichi finished him off. Everyone celebrated the overwhelming defeat. When they asked him where he was, he said, "Forgive me, I was fighting a different enemy. You are excused, Sichi, excused." But do you know who's not excused, dear viewer? It's you, because until now, you haven't liked or subscribed. Do you want to upset me? Would you accept my anger? If not, then go ahead, subscribe, like, and comment on your way out. And in the Kingdom of Demons, they are preparing to commence an alliance with the Kingdom of Wimberg. In the Kingdom of Wimberg, they too are getting ready to form an alliance. The Queen of Demons, Lutia, along with her aides, arrives at the palace of the King of Wimberg. They welcome her with grand hospitality. After some cordial and polite discussions, they agree to cooperate in protecting the world and to stop the envoys of the Demon King and the Caesar Empire from doing what they intend to do. They sign the contract, and thus the alliance between the Kingdom of Wimberg and the Kingdom of Demons is successfully formed. At that time in the academy, when Sichi left, one of the messengers, named Gimbal, entered the academy disguised as a student because his power was cloning. He came to the academy to kill Sichi's friends to make him despair. By doing so, he would fulfill the condition to revive the King of Demons. In reality, he was from a wealthy family, but he never felt happiness because he believed that people only got close to him because of his social status and money, not for who he was. He approached Sichi's friends to try to kill them while disguised as them, but each time he did, he found that they were very kind, which made him feel the desire to have friends who loved him for who he was. So he decided to live among them as Sichi for a while, to experience what he had been missing, and he let himself go to the extent that he himself was shocked by his actions. And while he was sitting eating with them in the forest, Barna spoke about the messengers and that the final battle was nearing, and that he felt the presence of an evil aura in the academy, which could be one of the messengers. Then Kanazuki appeared and said that it wasn't Sichi and that his scent was different, so Gimbal revealed his true form and confessed everything, that he did all that to destroy them in order to make Sichi despair and to allow the King of Demons to absorb the power of his despair. But that was the plan before he transformed into Sichi, because after he became Sichi, he began to understand emotions and the feeling of being loved. That's why he decided not to kill them and to go look for someone who would accept and love him. He left them and walked away, just like that, and as Gimbal was leaving the kingdom, a person wearing a black cloak appeared before him, and it seemed that Gimbal knew him. Gimbal told him that he would leave the messengers and that he was no longer interested in the matter of reviving the King of Demons. Suddenly, that person stabbed him and disappeared. After that, we see Sichi riding the carriage and returning to school, and when he returns, he trains for a bit, but he finds himself unable to use magic. He asks himself, "What's happening to me?" And then we move on to the academy, and there we find Barna holding an emergency meeting. He says to Sichi, "The time has come for me to tell you the real reason I brought you to the academy. It's because I anticipated that the messengers would attack us, and that those who have consumed the fruit of evolution are destined to meet the messengers. And Sichi, I'm specifically talking about you because you have eaten the fruit of evolution." Sichi asks, "Did you know that I had consumed the fruit of evolution?" Barna responds, "Shame on you. Do you see who you're speaking to?" Then Toria asks a pertinent question. "So, what is the connection between the fruit of evolution and the messengers?" Beatrice answers, "To get to that point, we must go back in time to the beginning of the story, where in ancient times, one of the world rulers rebelled against the others. Because of this, a large part of the earth was scorched, leaving a void until it was sealed. This rebellious ruler hated the other rulers and cursed the entire world. Due to these negative emotions, a crystallization of hatred formed, which was the fruit of evolution. It started to proliferate until it covered the entire world. The remaining rulers noticed it and began to use their power to contain its spread, and from then on, it became a thing of legend. This rebellious ruler was the King of Demons, and therefore, those who consume large amounts of the fruit end up as bait for the King of Demons, bait filled with despair. When they ask Sichi how many he had consumed, he says, "About 10. 10, you tyrant! 10, you deceiver!" they exclaim. It becomes clear that 10 is the maximum number one can consume. Then, the sorcerer Barna speaks of the strongest among the messengers, known known as Destra, who was once a student at the academy. Barna found him in a village that was destroyed by the rulers, harboring an unnatural hatred for them because they killed his family and everyone he loved. So when Barna and the girl resembling Saria, named Libra, found him, they took care of him and made him a student at the academy, especially Libra, who cared for him more than anyone else, to the point where Destra began to love her. For her birthday, he gave her the gift of her favorite flowers, called Danun. But then, one day, a tragic disaster occurred. Demons attacked the academy, and as Destra was fleeing, a demonic wolf appeared before him. He tried to kill it, but to no avail. And just when Destra was about to be killed, Libra appeared and took the attack in his place, protecting him until she was buried under the rubble. At that moment, the power of the fruit of evolution within Destra was activated, and despair and hatred took hold of him. He began to blame everyone, including Barna. Suddenly, without warning, Destra appears before Sichi and Barna, paralyzing everyone with his demonic power. Barna breaks free from the paralysis and tries to stop him. Destra attacks Barna with a dark sphere, but Barna stops it. Barna then says, "Since I can't kill you, die with me," and detonates himself. We are led to believe that Destra has died, but he survives. He transports Sichi and Saria to a place made of hatred and despair, the place where the king of demons was sealed. Sichi asks him about his goal, and Destra says that as one of the messengers, it's natural for his goal to be to revive the king of demons. But at the same time, his personal aim is to destroy the king of demons forever, because he took what was most dear to him. From the moment Libra died, he declares, "I decided to destroy the world and kill the rulers. To do that, I must kill you and take your despair into my own hands." The final battle begins, and Sichi attacks him, but Destra is stronger and stabs Sichi in the stomach, and he prepares for the final blow. But here, Saria appears, fierce and protective. She attacks Destra, but her attacks don't seem to affect him. He retaliates with blade-like strikes and stabs her in the heart with his power. Sichi carries her, weeping, so she tells him not to cry and that she has no regrets, that she enjoyed the time they spent together. And then Saria dies. Destra becomes even more enraged, telling Sichi that it's his fault Saria died because he wasn't strong enough. So Sichi unleashes the power of the demon's evolution fruit, and Sichi is about to turn into a demon like Destra. But before he transforms, he remembers all his memories since he arrived in this world and how crazy it all was. Destra appears in his mind, making him remember his old life, how hard and painful it was, and how everyone used to bully him. Destra tells him that everything that happened in this world was a lie. What matters is your true character, and that he too had suffered greatly, had everything taken from him overnight, and that they are similar, and says, "Come on Sichi, let's destroy the world together." Sichi is about to transform, but suddenly he remembers Saria and her love for him. When he remembers her, he changes his mind, telling Destra that he is not like him, because he knew the meaning of pain through bullying. Since then, he treated others kindly. If not for knowing pain and feeling it, he wouldn't have reached where he is now. Then the unexpected happens. The power of the evolution fruit reverses, and the true power of the evolution fruit appears, which is the power of friendship. Because of the power of friendship, the wizard Barna and Saria and all who died because of the apostles come back to life. Sichi asks Destra with all charisma to attack him and decapitate him with his sithe. Destra attacks Sichi with all his might, but Sichi counters with the power of friendship. Destra tries repeatedly, but Sichi is always ready for him. Destra pulls out his scythe and lunges at him, but Sichi easily dodges and wounds him. Destra cries, asking why they aren't the same. Sichi tells him not to worry. He trusts him and his ability to change and treat people kindly. So, in the end, we are not alike. Destra thanks Sichi and suddenly uses his power to kill himself. Sichi tries to save him but can't, and Destra disappears. Saria appears behind Sichi, thanking him, saying he's the best husband in the world. Amidst the romantic atmosphere, Saria decides she must now transform immediately into a gorilla. I don't even know what to say, and she carries him back to the academy. Everyone rejoices at their return, and that's where the anime ends. Thus, we have summarized the entire second season of Sichi's tale. So, if you haven't subscribed, liked, and all those good things, you're free to do so, but we'll be sad. If you don't want me to be sad, quickly subscribe, like, share, and drop a comment on the fly. So if you're good, I'm good. Alright then, bye.